aerodrome, on which is now sited the Hendon Air Museum, which is a complex of museums full of aircraft of Fighter Command, Bomber Command, Coastal Command, and all the impedimenta of the Royal Air Force. I'm sitting in a Lancaster in which I did a raid on Dresden with Bernard Archard and Glenn Houston. Actually, it was for a film, and we simulated a raid. We spent a week in this aircraft, and on film it looked very realistic. But that's another story. Basically, what I want to tell you is about the bits and pieces that go to make up the whole history of the Air Force. If you wander through this museum, you'll find so many artifacts that are fascinating. Whether you're somebody who's interested in aircraft or not, it just has all the human element as well as the mechanical element are all blended together. This is the skeleton remains of a Halifax bomber, one of the great bombers of the last war. In fact, it's the only known Halifax still in existence, and it was found at the bottom of a Norwegian lake. An RAF sub-aqua team went down, and they were able, by putting drums under it, to float it, and eventually it was brought back to England. There's something really slightly creepy about it, I think, but it's incredible. When they brought it to the service, they put a battery on charge to test the electrics, and they were all in working order. I think Mr. Chappell's antecedents would be very pleased to hear that. Now, over here is something that really goes back again to my childhood remembered. This is the Hawker Hart. And these used to fly in tight formation. They were fighter bombers from 1930 to 1939. They used to fly in arrowhead V formation just above here when I was a kid. This very gracious piece of sculpture is in fact the Valiant V-bomber, the first of Britain's nuclear deterrent force. And this is an RAF special policeman with his security dog. Did you train him yourself, or was he trained when he arrived? I mean, you're actually called a handler, of course. Security seems to be frightfully tight around here. Well, I hope we've managed to give you the flavor of the Hendon Air Museum, from a childhood remembered right up to today. Well, it's very easy to get to. You can get here by train, by bus, by car, of course, and by bike. Well, I'm off to play the Prime Minister of England, if you'll excuse me.